Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Goddess Wisdom webinar. I would like to congratulate you for taking a leap and coming on to this because today we are going to learn how to connect with the goddess and how to make the most of Navaratri, which is coming up, and it is the 9 nights of the goddess. So sorry about that. So what you'll learn today, who is the divine feminine? What is the goddess? How can the goddess change our lives? What is the power of Navaratri? Did you know there are 9 forms of Shakti or goddess? So we're going to cover all of this great information. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Gina. My spiritual name is Radha. I've been studying meditation for 21 years. I've been studying with Dr. Pillai for about 14 years. And I have to tell you my goddess story. So I was the type of person who rejected my femininity. I wore whatever I wanted. I didn't care what it looked like. I was rebelling against any societal notion of what I should be as a woman, that I should wear makeup, or I should have my hair a certain way, or that I should wear certain clothes, or that I should shave my armpits. All these things I rebelled against. And during that time period, in retrospect, I see that I was suppressing the goddess energy. I was rejecting it in spite of something else, to stand for something else. I was trying to stand for a certain type of liberation or freedom, which is noble, I think. But in the meantime, I did do disservice, I think, to the feminine energy that I do embody as women, that all men and women embody. We all have a divine feminine within us that is there for us to awaken. So early on in my life, really, I learned how to meditate. I connected with different teachers. My first spiritual teacher was the one who encouraged all of his students to clean up, present themselves well, and do a good job at our appearance as a service to others. And I thought that was really interesting. Of course, it went against everything I was trying to rebel against at the time, but I did it because that's what you do in a spiritual practice. When you take on a teacher, you typically listen to them. Otherwise, you're losing the power of the teachings and the transmission there. So I did it despite my own personal will. And as time went on, I could see I got into a career that was lucrative. I was going deeper into my own meditative process and connecting within. Then I met Dr. Pillai, and that's where he introduced me to the goddess as a being, as a real live being. My prior teacher kind of broke the ice for me, and then Dr. Pillai just blew the door wide open. He talked about the goddess, many goddesses, how they're in us, how if we don't honor them, that bad things could happen to us, and I was just really enrolled in this conversation of what to do. So after meeting Dr. Pillai, I did change my appearance even more. I moved more freely into the feminine energy that I embody without worrying about the cultural notion of what I was upholding or not upholding. And during that time, so many things opened up for me. I got into a loving relationship. I bought a house. I doubled my salary. I was studying with Dr. Pillai and very happy about my spiritual progress. Went on vacations. So much happened after I welcomed and opened and awakened the goddess energy. And I have to say, I've been studying with Dr. Pillai for over 14 years, and my most profound experiences have been with him during Navaratri or involved with the goddess experience. So the last time Dr. Pillai was in the US for Navaratri was in 2010. I had the honor of being there. He was in the Poconos, Pennsylvania. He did a 4-day retreat, a 3 or 4-day retreat. And I remember it wasn't that long compared to, let's say, an India retreat, and I've been on those with him during Navaratri too. But this one really changed my life. In those 3.5, 4 short days that felt like lifetimes, he restructured, between him and the goddess, restructured how I related to the goddess on even a deeper level. It was no longer, kind of scratching the surface. It went deep. We did meditations where we focused on parts of the body and chakras, and he and the goddess had this magical vibration of sound and energy and power just vibrating through my whole body during these sessions. It was incredible. During those 4 nights, it was very much a whirlwind of meditations and activities. It was until after I went back home where I could feel the effects. I would wake up in the morning with a smile on my face. Things just happened easily. I wasn't being stuck in my mindset. I wasn't being stuck when things happened that was against what I had expected them to happen. The goddess was living and breathing through me, and I began to see it in my life, manifesting in my life. That year, I took a trip to India with Dr. Pillai's blessings, did some incredible trips, readings, new experiences for me. I got a new car. I got into a new relationship that I hadn't been in a relationship for quite some time. So again, it was like another level of the goddess taking on this empowerment in a new and a deeper way. I truly feel that Navaratri is the one most powerful time of the year to change your life. And I'm saying that because it's been my experiences. There may be other powerful times, but for me, it's like the peak energy of the entire year. The potential is so great because the goddess is the creatress. She's the one who brings us through the life cycle of development, if you will, the development of the manifestation process. And I sincerely feel that this is the most powerful time of the year for us to make great changes, which is why I'm doing this webinar, because I really want you all to be able to make these changes as well. Everything is a process. So I started out on one end of the spectrum, and I'm where I am now, but I have a long way to go too, and I know that. And so I know that every Navaratri and every time I connect with the goddess is an opportunity for me to go deeper, not just have certain levels of experiences, but to have an overwhelming experience. Dr. Pillai's quote is, the highest thing you could want is to be abducted by her. Now, I haven't been abducted by her. Mohini has. So there's different ways to connect with the goddess and different ways to have her change your life. So we're going to get into the how, okay? So hopefully you're inspired enough by now to want to allow the goddess to begin to do her work. So this is what you need to do, or what you need to know. When is the power time to connect with her? And what do you need to do to connect with her? So let's get into it. Navaratri, or the 9, literally that word Navaratri means 9 nights of the goddess. So that's why we call it that, even though it sounds like a strange word. It's different language. So this celebration begins on September 24th and ends on October 2nd in the US. You have to check your calendars or go on astroved.com and check where you are of when this begins. It's going to be a day or two right around that. What you need to know now inside of these 9 nights is that the energy shifts every 3 days. The first 3 nights, we are blessed with Goddess Durga. She is a fierce, fierce goddess. She has weapons, and she will destroy the negativity that comes in her path. That's the first 3 nights, because she is the one who clears the path for other transformation. So here is a picture of her, so you can get an idea of what she's like. You can see the weapons she has. She rides a lion. That being under there is a demon. So she's destroying this negativity. It is said that our egos are demons that aren't, if they're not serving us in our highest potential, anything that's not serving us is something that she can destroy. Impurities of our mind, of our body, she can get rid of disease, of our spirit. She can lift us to new experiences. She can remove depression. She can also protect us from anything that may want to do us harm. So she is definitely Someone good to know. I'm going to go through each of these nights of when you should be focusing on and which goddess, and also along the way kind of give some instruction on what you can do. So for example, on the first 3 nights, you can chant her mantra, Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. There's chants out there that Dr. Pillai does. If you're enrolled in our mailing list, you're going to get them for free during these 9 nights. So please make sure you put your email address in there so you can get that. You'll want to chant to her. You can print out a picture of her. You can offer her flowers, some sweets, candle, incense, and do a prayer and just pray to her. Pray for her to protect you. Pray for her to remove impurities. Pray for her to remove any depression or mental anguish. Pray to her to lift you up in your spiritual evolutionary process. She's the one who's going to clear that path in the first 3 nights. Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth and beauty, prosperity, abundance. As you can see, she is surrounded by gold, pots of gold, beautiful lotus flowers. She's adorned in all kinds of jewels. And that's what she represents. And her domain is beauty and material comforts. Anything that gives us something that sustains us here on earth, that gives us pleasure. Her mantra, Om Shrim Lakshmiye Namaha. Again, same idea. Print out a picture of her, offer her flowers, chant her mantra, offer her something sweet. When I say offer, you can just put it in front of the picture. And it's as if you are offering it to a friend. So when you're making these offerings and doing these things, you're connecting with them as real live beings. We can't see, I can't see them. Some people can. But according to Dr. Pillai, they're there, and it's just that our human eyes cannot see them. Their energetic form is there when we call upon them. So they like this reciprocal exchange where we offer them things that we feel good about offering it. Don't do it if it's not in your heart to do it. Do it because you want to. Do it because you want to invite these goddesses into your life and into your heart and into your home. And when you do it with a pure heart, they will respond. The final 3 nights is Saraswati, and she brings us high intelligence, wisdom, education and learning, arts and entertainment, that part of the brain, all of those things. Her mantra, Om Aim Saraswatiye Namaha, the same drill, printing out a picture, making these offerings to her. She likes white, Lakshmi likes pink, and Durga likes red. So if you want to get specific on your flower color, you can do that, but it's not necessary. Do it as simply or as involved as you would like. It's all about your practice. So those are the goddesses, those are the times. Now let's just back up a second. What and who is the divine feminine? We just talked about 3 different types of goddesses. And I'll get to what an archetype is also. But she's the creatress. In her form, she brings things into form. Beauty and prosperity. Anything material. She wields this, the material aspect of what we see, of the earth plane, otherwise known as Maya. Anything that's we think is 3-dimensional, right? That it's said that it's all an illusion. But she creates this so that we have some form of pleasure, so we have something to do. There's a story of Shiva and Shakti, the male and the female energies working together, and the male energy, Shiva energy, is quiet. He is stillness. He is emptiness. But he's also the source of all this energy, this spiritual energy, silent spiritual energy. The goddess is the one who comes and takes that energy, and if you can just imagine her like swirling it around and creating a world of love and of beauty and of relationships and material things. That's what she does. That's why she's the creatress. That's why she can create anything for us. That is why it's so important for us to connect with her. Because if we want that in our life, if we want beauty, prosperity, abundance, relationships, good health, all the things that are in our physical world, she's the one who can give it to us. I keep saying she, and we will get into the aspects of archetypes too, because there is the she, the ultimate she, but then there's the divisions of she. That is a representation of different types of energy. So I mentioned form, and on the slide you can also see consciousness. So she's not just about the material. She could also bring about our inner power. The power that doesn't have a physical form. It is pure power. It is our ability, it is what fuels our ability to create. It is what can create miracles. It is this consciousness beyond, it's a super consciousness, Dr. Pillai calls it. It's a wisdom that goes beyond the limited human mind. When we can tap into her divine mind, her divine consciousness, we get beyond this world. We can travel different worlds. We can travel different dimensions, and she's the one with us. She's the one guiding us to those worlds. For thousands of years, the goddess has been worshipped. In the West, that tradition has been lost, but is very much alive today in India, and that is why we are bringing Dr. Pillai's teachings, as he's from Tamil Nadu, the southern India, and this teaching is very dear to him. At a very young age, he was introduced to the goddess, learned about her, had experiences with her, initiated into her mantras, and for the past, I don't know what it's been, 40, 50 years now of his relationship with the goddess, it is a very intimate relationship. When he calls upon her, she comes. And I'm saying this from what he has said, what I've heard him say. He can see her, he can hear her, he can call upon her, he can ask her to do things. He has this relationship with her. That's why when we develop courses, or when or like the Florida event that's happening for Navaratri, being within Dr. Pillai's presence is so powerful, because he can call upon the goddess and she's there immediately. So them together, between his empowerment and initiation to us and the goddess behind him really pushing through all of this power, that is how we can transform more significantly than we can simply on our own. It's like plugging in to this really big network of powerful goddess energy and having it run through him and into us. And that's an initiation. And oh my God, there's nothing like it, right? There's 99.9% of the planet who may never know this type of exchange with the divine, and how lucky are we to be able to know this and take advantage of it. So I mentioned that the goddess is one big universal form, and then she's also different archetypes. And it's like having different personalities. So you have an energy pattern, which is the archetype. So we went through the three main ones for Navaratri, and they all have what they're really good at, for example, right? And that's how we identify them as archetypes. It doesn't mean that they're not all still part of the universal Shakti, the universal goddess. They are. It's just that they've subdivided to get really good at their craft, and then we can call upon them when we want something that particular goddess is really good at. It's like calling the plumber when you need to fix your plumbing. You wouldn't call the electrician, right? So that is how you can think about the archetypes of goddesses and how they have particular powers that they can give to us. So we talked about the three main ones, and during Navaratri you will want to connect with each one of those. However, recently Dr. Pillai introduced 9 goddesses, and he did this last Navaratri. It was the first time he introduced these new 9 sounds, 9 goddesses that will be revealed again this Navaratri during the 9 nights. So how can you make the most of this? I just gave you the example of what you need to do and when to connect with each one of the goddesses. Now, beyond that, there are these 9 areas of your life, the 9 goddesses. And Dr. Pillai is going to introduce them to us in a very intimate way to our soul. And he's going to do that through these programs. So if you're going to Florida, he will be talking about these goddesses and their powers. We also have packages, online courses that you can take if you cannot go to Florida. That's kind of like the backup plan. And I'll go into the different packages, but first let's go through these. Actually, I'll change that up. The several ways that you can take advantage of Navaratri and really make the most of it. One I just told you about, being able to connect with those three goddesses, and you should absolutely do that. And if you want to take it to the next level and be part of Dr. Pillai's empowerment in some way, we've created ways for you to do that no matter where you are on the earth plane. If you are able to get your body to Florida, I highly recommend that you do that. And that one is this page. Here it is the ultimate experience with Dr. Pillai. Like I mentioned earlier, when I was in his physical presence in 2010, it was one of the most profound experiences I have ever had and life-changing. And it was, I think, because of both the goddess and Dr. Pillai being there, working together and working on all of us in the room at the same time. To me, that's like the oh my God, like the one, you know, the you can get the two greatest things in one room. You know, you'd be there if you could. And that's what's going to happen. And he will be giving chakra meditations. We'll learn meditations, rituals, of course, these 9 sounds. There will be sessions between midnight and 2 a.m. because that is the most powerful time for the goddess herself. It may even be later, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., we're not sure. We'll play it by ear once he's there. There's specific meditations and elixirs that will be secreted into the brain to give us highest intelligence and the energy to acquire these supernormal powers. I'm really excited about this because this is something he hasn't done in the past. Even when I saw him in other Navaratris, he's never mentioned this, that these elixirs and acquiring these supernormal powers through the goddess. So we'll have about 60% meditation experiences and 40% of theory and teaching. Of course, when you're in Dr. Pillai's presence, it is an experience in and of itself. There is a transmission from him, all of his experiences, his past lives, his power, his energy that gets transmitted to you while you're physically there. Whether you speak to him or not, it is just being in his presence that happens. I am speaking from experience, having been blessed enough to be around him to know the difference, distinctly know the difference when he is around physically and when he is not around physically. When he is around physically, I think differently, I act differently, I am different. It's his, he's not even teaching, he's just in a room and I can feel the difference. So it's, like I said earlier, we're being plugged into this super network of, you know, saints, siddhas, gods, goddesses, all these powerful beings kind of being pulled through him and to us. So if you can be in that room in Florida, I would highly recommend you do it. I know the cost can be a problem for some people, but honestly, this is one of the lower cost programs that he has given, especially recently. So, and I know he was originally going to charge $5,000 for this program. It was going to be 5 days, $5,000, and then after some time went by, I asked him about it again, and he said, no, I want it to be accessible to more people. He's so compassionate. He knows this is worth millions. He knows that the value of this is beyond anything we can put a price tag on, but he is also compassionate to want to allow as many people as possible to be there and still have an exchange that makes us be able to kind of go that extra mile to make it happen so that we're giving something back too, because that is really important, that exchange of energy. And our energy comes in the form of money. That's how we measure our time and our life, right? Sometimes in the form of money. So we give that, and in exchange, we get what he's giving, because it is his time and his energy and, of course, his empowerment. So if you can be there, please be there. The other packages, For those who cannot be there, again, Dr. Pillai was very compassionate to allow us to offer a 2-hour live call with him on the Friday night. This is Friday. Friday is the most powerful time of Navaratri, or for the goddess, I should say, and it's the final night of Durga. So in the final night of each goddess, they're even those goddesses are at their peak power. So it'll be the peak power of Durga, clearing any negativity, on the cusp of moving into Lakshmi at midnight when the goddess energy is the most powerful on a Friday, ruled by Venus. Again, the goddess energy is most powerful, and he'll be giving a live initiation call on that day. So this is for the folks who just cannot be there but really want to do something, and we've been getting a lot of calls from you, so that's why this offer was created. If that's not good enough, there's those 9 goddesses that I didn't talk about just yet. There is a webcast which will focus in on 9 different goddesses, 9 different sounds each night of Navaratri. And they'll be delivered by video in a webcast. They are recorded, so it's not live with Dr. Pillai. These have been pre-recorded, but they're very, very powerful teachings. For the first night, we're all about clearing karma. These go in a progression. So we can't divide them up, but they are purposely in a progression so that you start with night 1 and you end with the culmination of all the energy in night 9. So you're clearing karma. Night 2, you're creating wealth. Night 3, you're tapping into a goddess who can instantaneously manifest. Night 4, another goddess, another sound, and she gives us clarity and intelligence, connecting with our divine self. Night 5 is all about, I like to think of this as like kicking butt. This is being fearless, this is being courageous, this is really pulling that energy that you need to get things done sometimes. That was night 5. Night 6 is, again, clearing out any negativity, destroying evil. That's a strong word, but that's exactly what Dr. Pillai said. It's a negative forces or evil in our life that is pulling us in different directions and making us confused, and we need to end that and destroy that. Night 7, we tap into, this goddess helps you to control your senses and also astral travel. But could you imagine what it would be like to control your senses, to not be able to really not be guided by your sense of smell or taste or sight? You know, we're pulled in so many different directions throughout the day because of what we want to do. We're like children, right? Looking at shiny things or putting things in our mouth. Imagine if you had the ability to control your senses. Night 8, activating the third eye. This brings us beyond limitation, beyond the duality of life. The third eye is activated and opened, and we can be in a unity consciousness. Night 9, receive the ultimate goddess consciousness. So I love what Dr. Pillai does in this program. He really builds up to this final night and gives this one special sound and said, this is the ultimate goddess sound, and this sound culminates all the other ones and pulls it into a very powerful state. These are all secret sounds that he hasn't revealed before. Like I said, this is pre-recorded, so it's just that he has not put these out publicly. So these are the 9 nights, the 9 sounds. Some people may ask, because you have in the past, okay, so there's these 9 nights and I have all these different 9 goddesses. What about Lakshmi and Saraswati and Durga? Those goddesses are still going to rule the 9 nights. Don't throw them out the door. But when you participate in this program, you'll be initiated into each of these 9 sounds and these 9 goddesses. It's even when I talk about it, it's overwhelming to me. Like 9 goddesses, like they're all there, and he explains them, he talks about them, he says what they look like, and he does a really beautiful meditation for each one of them each night. So you'll do both. So don't worry if you are participating in the package. You just immerse yourself into the webcast and do what Dr. Pillai says, and not worry about anything else. This base package has the 2-hour call with Dr. Pillai, so you get your live initiation. Then it has the webcast, so these 9 sounds, 9 nights, and a Shri Chakra pendant. You can see a little picture of it there. I'm pretty excited about that. I love the Sri Chakra. It is the ultimate form of the goddess. If you look at her in a three-dimensional form, in a yantra, which is a geometric device, that's what it will look like. So all of those triangles put together, there's many different meanings behind all the symbols there, but just wearing it gives off a vibration of the goddess. So everything is vibration, right? So the yantra is a technology that gives off vibration all the time. So when we wear a yantra, we're vibrating with that frequency all the time because it's against our body. So that's the power behind that. And that will be energized in the fire labs, and you will receive that at your home. And that package is $297, and when you add it all up individually, it's $550. So that is package 1. Package 2, if you want to go all out, if you can't go to Florida and you want to go all out, this is the package for you. 2-hour call with Dr. Pillai, 9 webcasts with the 9 goddesses and the 9 sounds, the Sri Chakra pendant that I just mentioned, energized and giving you that goddess vibration all the time, and 9 fire labs. I'm sure you've heard me or Dr. Pillai or someone talk about how fire labs or fire rituals, or homas they're called, are the most powerful ritual you can do to connect with the divine. We are giving 9 of them, and they're all live video broadcast. So we've never done this before. I had to call and make sure technologically and staff-wise it was going to be okay. And it's all working out. People are pulling together to make this happen, because we were originally going to give just 3 of the homas, the rituals here, but I wanted to make this the most powerful. Like, if you can't do anything, you can't go to Florida, this is where you'll be, because this is the maximum that I could think of putting together into a package, and that Dr. Pillai allowed for us to create. So I'm really excited about that. Priest Premraj is our priest in India. He's our chief priest. He speaks perfect English. He is guiding us through how to participate in the ritual. You're not going to be doing a home fire lab at home, but you'll be able to participate in terms of when to pray, who to pray to, what he's doing, so that you know what's going on inside the ritual, so you can tune in even more closely. You'll be able to watch it live and be able to take advantage of all that, watching the fire, seeing the offerings, all of that amazing energy that happens and gets transmitted during these fire rituals. Now, if you can't do anything else and you're on a budget, then we have made available the 3 final nights of each goddess. So I mentioned that the final night of each goddess is her most powerful time, because she's been established. So she comes in day 1 and then kind of does her work day 2, and then by day 3 she's in her power. She knows what she's like accomplishing what she needs to accomplish, and then when you worship her that day and call upon her day, that her power is at its peak. So that's the best time to tune into her. If you can only do 3 things during all of these 9 nights, that's when you want to do it, the 3 final nights of each goddess. So you can tune in to these fire labs. They are, again, live and interactive, meaning Priest Premraj will be able to guide us on what to do. We'll send out handouts early on so that you can get pictures, print them out, get flowers, get offerings of your own, so that you can make a little altar and make the offerings to the goddess. Not in a fire, but just to her, like I mentioned earlier, that you could do on your own. So this would be a wonderful complement to your at-home practice for the 9 nights. Just the same screen for Dr. Pillai's Navaratri experience. I love this quote. "I consider this Navaratri the most important period in my personal life as well as teaching career." It really blew me away when he said that, because I feel that that is really profound for someone of his stature and his lifetime until now, all the beings he's interacted with, all the experiences he's had, that he is considering this Navaratri the most important time period of his personal life as well as his teaching career. The personal life I get because he is so closely connected with the goddess. I think it's going to help him get to the next level of his experience with her. And then his teaching career, I think it's because he is wanting to transmit these teachings to us in person during this retreat in Florida. And of course, it's going to be a beautiful location as well. So that is the end of the presentation. I invite you to take this journey, your journey, with the goddess during the 9 nights. Please do not lose sight of the fact that Navaratri is one of the most powerful times of the year. I find it the most powerful time of year to transform, and you don't want to let this go. So I presented all the ways that you can take advantage of this time. If you still have any questions, write to us, office@pillaicenter.com. We are happy to help and assist because we want you to make it the most powerful time for you. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're home alone, not participating in the package, or you're in Florida, whatever it is you do, it's my goal to have you have the most powerful Navaratri of your life. So if there's anything we can do to facilitate that, please let us know. Because when each one of us moves more powerfully into our purpose and our light and our love and our connection with the goddess, we change the world. Every single one of us, we do that. So it is our interest, as from a global peace and prosperity perspective, to have more people be interacting with the goddess, more people be embodying and awakening this energy and this light within them. And we all can do that. And this is the peak time to do that this year. Otherwise, you have to wait till next year, and we don't want to do that. There's also 3 months left to 2014, and you can recharge your battery and get your goddess on and get her enlivened within you to fulfill on what it is you want to create over the next 3 months, and then, of course, into next year as well. So I invite you to take on this opportunity, this journey, this challenge, and make the most of this powerful time. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been an honor and a pleasure for me to be spending time with you. I'm sorry we don't have an open Q&A today, but please send your questions in and we will get back to you. You must enroll by September 24th for all of the packages that I mentioned. They were all beginning on the evening of the 24th in the US, so we'll be closing registration that day. And of course, if you want to go to Florida, you also have to have registered by the 24th. And if you have any questions about the retreat or the packages, again, email us. Thank you. The link is down at the bottom, and you can go to pillaicenter.com to find the pages for the offerings as well. Thank you again. May the goddess bless you now and always, and namaste.